A Bitcoin frenzy over the weekend. Bitcoin futures surged better than 25% during their debut session on the Chicago board of the CBOE. Trading was so intense it had to be halted twice to cool volatility. Joining us right now to weigh in is the founder and CEO of the Adam Mesh Trading Group, Adam Mesh. Adam, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
Are you trading Bitcoin?
I am not trading Bitcoin.
Okay, so tell us what's behind this huge move.
Well, it's been volatile to start. You know, we're seeing 20% moves every hour. For the experience, went to open an account the other day. And the time I was trying to open an account, it moved 3,000 points up, 3,000 points down. The site was down. The next day, 70 million was stolen from someone's account. So I just kind of deleted it and was like, I don't need to do this.
So you don't trust it?
I don't trust it.
So Adam, how about this, now that the CBOE is trading futures on it, does that legitimize it for people? Are people now, do you see, because I don't, but do you see Bitcoin as a new asset class going forward?
I don't see it as a new asset class. People are saying it does legitimize it because you have the smart money coming in. The people who made money as to this point are more entrepreneurs. They're not institutional investors. But now you have this new money coming in, but it's still not an asset because if you bought something in a transaction, the value could change so drastically, so quickly, you can't make transactions that way. So there's really nothing you could use it for right now other than gambling.
I think it's important to point out for people at home, if you can't explain Bitcoin and understand what Bitcoin is and what cryptocurrency is, you probably shouldn't be looking to go on the App Store, buy an app to start trading Bitcoin, because that will probably end badly.
Well, there's tremendous inefficiencies. In my office, I was watching two people that were trading Bitcoin, and on different exchanges, there were different prices. It was 1,000 points apart on two different exchanges. I saw it at 17,500, and I have a screenshot of someone getting a sale at 19,000 at the same time. So unless I was, and back in the day I was, a day trader, and I had different broker-dealers set up, and I was scalping, that could be fun, but you know, it's right now the same as walking into a casino, and definitely don't trade it with money you can't afford to lose.
That's one of the problems, and that the Journal actually raises in its article front page on the Bitcoin futures beginning to trade. By the way, they start on the CME a week from now. This is the CBOE. That it's the underlying exchanges on which they're basing the pricing in the futures markets. That there is, it's essentially open for manipulation. That the CME's four partner exchanges together only handle 10% of the daily Bitcoin volume. That is a huge issue. And that some veterans in the business are worried that the headline risk of possible underlying manipulation could hurt Bitcoin trading in the future and the actual use of Bitcoin, that this is a new set of risks if anything goes wrong. By the way, we should point out the fact that Mt. Gox, the old Bitcoin exchange, went bankrupt because it was robbed of almost $500 million. And that was only 3 years ago, or roughly 3 years ago.
And this is why some of the largest futures brokers in the country, JP Morgan, Citigroup, will not immediately clear Bitcoin trades for their clients. I mean, they said, we're not in it.
But we could see a tremendous short squeeze. You know, now that people are able to get short, which you can do during the futures, you weren't able to do that before. It's either going to be the biggest short squeeze we've ever seen or the greatest shorting opportunity. But bringing margin into the game with all these inefficiencies, it's not something I would feel comfortable getting involved with, other than literally if I went in knowing it was for entertainment value.
So what are you telling clients? What are the implications?
They missed it. You know, there's a horse racing term. There's a horse racing term. If a horse won 6 times in a row and your buddy's like, oh, well, now you should bet on it, you say, I wasn't there for the wedding. I don't want to be there for the funeral.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because so many people are going to read about wealth that's created for a small handful of people and think, I need to get in. There's absolutely no reason anybody needs to get into Bitcoin right now. If they've traded it so far and made a fortune doing it, hats off to them, but there's no reason to jump in now because it's in the headlines.
You're absolutely right.
People need socks. They don't need Bitcoin.
Right.
There's a difference.
Well said.
It's a mania.
Yeah.
It's a mania.
What do you foresee? Are we going to see a crash here? What's next?
No, I don't see a near-term crash coming. I think there's too much interest right now. I mean, my wife said to me the other day, how come we're not in this?
Right.
Well, I thought you would have been in this. And I felt that pressure, and every day I get asked, and it's literally almost embarrassing not to own it based on how much I'm getting asked. But again, I wasn't there, so I'm just going to sit on the sidelines, watch it play out. I don't think I'm going to miss that much anymore. The move was the people you're going to be interviewing later who got in really early.
And listen to your wife. Women are smarter than men. I think that's
That's a whole other business.
That holiday message from Mike Murphy.
This holiday business, it's good.
But I said this last week. I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast, and when his sidekick is saying, it's going to go up another $20,000, then because we've lived this mania before, where when you're trading something like this, you always have to, or investing in it, to use that verb, you always have to think about the person on the other side of it. It's somebody who's probably a lot smarter with a lot more money, who could potentially be a criminal.
And I think it's really important to ask the question, does this make sense? I mean, too often we get into situations, manias where we forget what the fundamentals are. I mean, during the 1990s, when we were buying anything with a .com at the end of it, it didn't matter that they had zero revenue or very little revenue, zero profits, and we were counting hits to the website. And we thought that was okay. And so, buy egg.com, buy anything.com, because there are so many hits to the website. Instead of asking yourselves, what does this mean? Does this make sense? Now, I don't know if Bitcoin makes sense or not. We're going to be talking with the billionaire Bitcoin investors, the Winklevoss brothers. They are billionaires because of this. They're going to come up later in the program. So I don't know, but if it looks like it's too good to be true, Mike Murphy, it probably is.
Not probably. It definitely is. Now, I
don't know. They don't say that, right? They're not going to say that.
And they haven't sold any of it.
They've made $1 billion.
They haven't sold it.
Hats off to them. I don't know if they can sell, or that's what I don't really understand. Is there another side to this market? If people just keep buying, of course the price is going to get inflated. But if there's no market on the other side to sell, and it's a potential that it could possibly be stolen out of your account while you're asleep, that's something I want no part of.
What about that heist that we saw recently?
$70 million was stolen. And the people who are pro-Bitcoin will say that's off a third party. It's not the main exchanges, so there's nothing to worry about. That concerns me a lot.
And it's not regulated.
And something else to think about, if websites are going down because people are trying to get in, any market we've ever seen, it goes down faster than it goes up. So think about how people are going to feel in the website traffic when people are trying to get out and they can't. Ooh. I think we're months away from our first Bitcoin horror story. Like, I took all my money, I put it in this, and now it's gone because I got margined out.
Does this tell you anything, Dagan, about where we are in the overall broader markets? I mean, we're talking about an economy that is doing well. Yes, that's the fundamental backdrop for $6 trillion in new market value created in the stock market. But remember, during the last bullish moment, we've learned about CDOs, and we learned about how people were trading mortgages and they were bad mortgages. Is there anything here that's reminiscent of the top of a market? Maybe not, but worth asking.
If this is a bubble, what does it say about the valuation on other assets?
Exactly.
On stocks, for example. I know that the underpinnings, at least there are underpinnings of a way to value a stock.
It's apples and oranges. Can't really,
Right, because you own a slice of a business and you know what that business's future earnings and revenue will likely be. But I think it does highlight the fact that maybe we are in a scenario where asset prices, broadly speaking, are inflated.
Right, and people are willing to take more risk.
Right, inflated in part by central banks around the world. We have just begun to see a little bit of a pullback in the amount of money circulating out there.
Yeah, in fact, the Fed is meeting this week, and we're probably going to see rates go higher on Wednesday, last meeting of the year. Adam, great insights from you. Thank you so much. Adam Mesh joining us there.